Okay, so let's rebuild this Traxxas differential from the Summit. Everything's been cleaned out, re-lubed the bearings, put some new bearings on, and let's start rebuilding this thing. First, you take this shaft, it's got the two holes on it, get your rubber seal on the end, and there's also a Teflon washer on the end there too. Don't forget your Teflon washer right at the end here. I don't know if it's hard to see it, but it's on there. You pop this one in first. Get that seal down there on the bottom, push it in. That guy is in. Then you're going to take your carrier. This pin goes in the middle. I don't know what the other holes are for. You stick that pin on it. Then you take your little spider gears. The gears go to the inside of the carrier. One on that side. The other one goes on the other side. And that's what it should look like. Two spider gears with the teeth to the inside. And then you take these, which go on the outside here. And you put the rounded edge towards the outside. And that's going to slip into your differential. Nice and snug. With the rounded edge towards the outside. That's what it looks like, all put together. That's your limited slip differential with your spider gears put back onto the carrier. With those little spacers on the end. I don't know if you can see it, but these spacers actually have two little prongs on the end of it. You can see that spacer with two prongs on the end. That's actually what this spur gear on the inside has got four little prong holes. That's where those sit. Those prongs will sit right on there. Those guys. So then you take this guy and hold it together. Grab your housing with the shaft down on the inside there. And you're going to line this guy up right like this. Get it into position, and you simply drops right in. Give it a spin. Of course it works. Your next step is to fill this differential with some oil. Now, Traxxas uses 100,000 weight oil in these differentials. I do not have 100,000 weight oil. I have 50,000 weight oil. So I'm going to use this up because I spent the money on this for other truck, my Stampede. And why waste it? Because I hardly ever use it. So I am going to fill up my differentials with 50,000 weight oil. It might make a bit of a difference in the field. I don't know. The thicker the oil, the thicker the oil, it limits the limited slip, you might say. It actually will make the two wheels turn together, almost like they're locked together up to a certain point, and then the limited slip will kick in, and only one at a time. So I'm just going to drop some of this 50,000 weight oil in here. Do not get any oil in the screw holes. If you do, and you put your screws in there, you could blow the thread. You could blow them more open because of the pressure in there, because this oil is so thick. Just carefully fill it up a little bit at a time. Let it get down to the bottom. It's a bit of a tedious process. I can't imagine what 100,000 weight oil is like, because this stuff is so thick, it's crazy. So I like to put a little in and give it a little spin. That's going to suck some of the oil out of there, get it down inside. It's actually really easy rebuilding these things. It's so easy. It's kind of like watching grass grow, but put some more of that oil in there. I think I'll just pause this video for a second while I fill this thing up, because it's kind of boring. Get Let's see here, get that oil in there. Give it another little spin here to get that oil down into the bottom of it. It popped out on me. I'm just going to pause this for a sec. Okay, so I've got quite a bit of oil in here now. Traxxas doesn't really say how much to put in there, but there's quite a bit in there now, and I think it'll be okay. Fresh 50,000 weight oil. So the next step is to take your gasket, get it in place. It can only go one way, so you can't screw this up. Get your gasket in there. It lines up with the screw holes. And then you're going to set that aside for a sec. Don't get any dirt or debris in there. You just have to take it all apart again. Set that aside for a second. And then you're going to take your big spur gear here. I managed to re-lube this bearing, so she spins pretty good. One of these days I'm going to have to try to get this bearing off because I could not get it off. I think I mentioned that already. Okay, then you take one more rubber seal, which goes right in here. That rubber seal, you pull up that in place right there. You see, everybody see that? There's your other rubber seal. You take your other shaft. That one's obviously too big. So you take your other one and you plop that in there, and there you go. This one does not have a Teflon washer on it as far as I know. Just the rubber seal. Then you take that guy. You take your diff housing. And you're going to line up the holes. You're going to line up the holes where the screws go. And you're going to line them up to there. See what I'm saying? Let's do the and just line it up. And plop it together. That's all you got to do, man. Then you got to get the screws in. And that's all there is to it. You start by working the screws in. I'm not going to bore you with showing the screws going in. So I'll pause the video again while I screw them in. Okay, so we're back again. There's 4 screws in place. In my diff housing. Let me tighten these down. There's 1, 2, there's 3, and there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. It's tight. It's snug. It's closed. Yeah, there's no oil coming out the back because the seal's in. Everything's perfect. Perfectly sealed in the back. No oil leaking. And that is how you rebuild your differential on your Traxxas Summit, guys. Now, the last thing I got to do, I got to take apart my transmission. Because these shaft right here, look, I can't even turn it. It will not turn. I take a pair of pliers on here. Oh boy, yeah, those bearings are completely seized and rusted out. Oh, I've made a decision not to run my Summit in water anymore. If I got to go through this all the time, it's a lot of work. So, till next time, thanks for watching.